I really don't even know what to call this one. I almost want to call it Secrets of Time. Because I got an email this morning, Mr. 20, I don't have time. I don't have time. I love that one. I don't have time to feel it real. I don't have time to take a course. I've got a deadline coming up, Mr. 20. Oh, boy. I don't have time. That is often coupled with, since time is an illusion, Mr. 20. It's like, all right, since time is an illusion, go ahead. See, I notice I'm having the time of my life, and I don't get caught up in all kinds of weird thoughts about now, and I don't even call it, we could call it mental gyrations, mental constipations. See, we all have the same amount of time. Physically. We all have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days most years. Most of us will live to somewhere between 50 and 120 years old, from what I'm told. Most folks work 8 hours a day. I find that absolutely ludicrous. Used to do that. Used to work a lot more than that. See, here's what I notice. I don't have time for the dumb shit. Most big words, I don't have time for. Political debate, I don't have time for. Worry. Endless worry and fear. I don't have time for that. What if you only had so much room on the buffet of your life? Where you go to get all the good food, the egg rolls, the pizza, the fish balls, the cheese sticks. Some of us might even enjoy a little bit of salad off the damn thing. But what if there was only so much room for so much food at the buffet and on your plate? See, right now, if you're listening to this, odds are you're experiencing life sometime around the year 2021. Maybe 2031. I mean, this could be 10 years old by the time you find it. That's fine. That's cool. I wonder how much fun you've had in the last 10 years since I've made this. Or is it the next 10 years? See, here's what I notice. It's time for the birds to sing, and I enjoy that. Some people notice it's time for I gotta get up. The birds are singing. See, what are you filling your time with? So you go to the buffet and you can only put so much on your plate. Neville says you get to give life, you get to choose the portions. He says creation is finished. You give life to dead states. You get to choose the portions you put on your plate. That last fits my phrase, by the way. Just to be clear, don't try to search up Neville Goddard portions on plate. But he says you get to choose the segment. You get to choose the portion that shows up in your life, and you get to choose how it shows up in your life. You imagined yourself into this slice of space and time somehow. Planet Earth, 2021, the loogie. Guess what? It's time for you to be the blessing. It's time for you to be blessed. It's time for you to do what Neville taught. Neville said you came here for a divine purpose, to know imagination. Which means who you are and how this works. That means waking up to who you are, the promise. That means having fun, if you choose to, with the law. What would you enjoy today? Imagine that up. Could be a smile on a child's face. Why not imagine that up? I know people that are all worked up about the masks. They're all worked up about how it's impacting psychologically the children of tomorrow and today and how their kids will be. And they get all worked up. I'm imagining lovingly. Why not imagine lovingly? You see, you've got as much time as I do. My question is, are you spending it or are you investing it? Neville says to invest your time, your money, your imaginal act. You're giving life. You're resuscitating. Victoria and I were having a chat the other day, and a lot of people don't realize pruning strengthens the plant. And when we get a tree or a vine that grows wild here on the property, it's usually a lot of weak branches, stuff that crisscrosses, damages each other, that breaks when the possums climb on it. Not a fan of things breaking and then trying to fix them. I'm a fan of looking at something and unleashing its potential. I'm into pruning the vine, and pruning the vine is triage. A lot of people have heard that word. They don't know what that means. Triage, when you're a cop, when you're an ER nurse, you see, I was one. I know plenty of the other from being the first. But there's this thing called triage, and you have to make assessments right now. That one lives, that one dies. And a lot of people don't like the D word. But here's the thing, the old you, the old way that you waste time gets to die. That doesn't mean you don't watch some Netflix if you want to. If you want to watch some Netflix, you watch some Netflix. If you want to read the news, read the news. You see, the mental diet isn't hiding from the news or giving up TV. You can give it up if you want to. I didn't have a TV for over 10 years. Now I find it fascinating, especially the amount of educational stuff, like House of Cards that I can watch, or The Blacklist. You see, I find it fascinating. I find hiding and avoiding fascinating. Because you can hide down in your bunker. You can hide in your fortress. Neville says the state that you most commonly return to is your dwelling place. What if you had a couple of those? Loving teacher, loving husband, loving puppy dad. Those are my dwelling places. I tend to bounce into one, then the other, then the other, then the other, then the other. I don't have fortress loving husband who resists all temptations. I don't have fortress loving puppy dad that resists getting a cat or a parrot. You don't need fortresses. You do need to have a life, because you're what gives life. And until you get that, you're going to either be chasing happiness or hoping someday, maybe, I don't know. I just want to fill my life full of... So here's what I want you to notice today. Again, we're having a lot of fun getting ready for Dream Driven Day coming up in September. Seats are actually filling up. We have not officially opened the gates yet. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. Just let people drip feed in. Do a big announcement at some point. But if you went in before then, let me know. That's dreamdrivenday.com. ManifestingMasteryCourse.com starts with a single lesson. And it's about the girls giggled. And here's how most people tend to treat time. Something bad happened, and then they let it sprawl all over the garden. They let it sprawl all through their lives. Something bad. See, I don't think you can beat me. I had a real shit childhood in some ways. I got beat to death when I was 23. Lost my entire career at that point. No one's going to hire a cop with PTSD. See, that's what they say I had. Now doctors tell me you were misdiagnosed. I've had so many doctors tell me I've been misdiagnosed on pretty much everything. Say, oh no, you didn't have scoliosis. Well, if you look at my childhood photos, it's pretty obvious I did. But I don't now, for some reason. Anywho, I'm a fan of giving life, of giving time to only what I choose. I'm a massive fan of that. And if you want to get behind that, if you want to discover how I do that, if you want to have experiences that change your experiences, remember, a state is how you experience what you experience. How do you experience money in your life? See, what is money? How do you experience it? Right? How do you experience people in your life? Right? There's people. They're going to be there. Close or far, a lot or a few, doesn't really matter. How do you experience them? If you want to explore how I experience the world and how we teach it, right? ManifestingMasteryCourse.com is the cornerstone. Join us there. And finally, for the sharers, those who share their lives, those who share the shows with us, sharing is caring. You know, those who share the shows, you're listening to this because somebody shared something somewhere. And MM members, they tend to send us an update every 7 days because we tell you to. We share with yours, we ask for yours. Because we want to get to know you and celebrate and share in your wins. And I'm going to be releasing a special one today in the Law of Attraction by Neville Goddard group. I love sharing these. Facebook let us about a year and a half ago start like tagging them, and so we've got like about 500 now tagged. There's probably about 5,000 that aren't, but meanwhile, have a lovely day. Do not let anything steal your time. In other words, don't squander it, because nothing can steal your time, but only you can squander it. You are what gives life to dead states. Pick the portions you want on your plate, and join us in ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. See ya.